So let's have an in-depth conversation that's been going on since possibly May. So we are still dealing with the Chiron retro. We're still dealing with the previous retros. And we are now being introduced to new energy. So when I saw this, I was shocked. I won't lie, I was shocked. So I'm going to tell you a little story. Last year was 2022. 2021, while I was working on all of my videos, I had made the decision, I think I want to start working with tarot. And tarot was something that I had been working with a long time ago, but being raised in the super religious double home, neither one of my parents would take part in such things. So I had to wait until I was fully mature and I understood that I'm only dealing with my own spirituality, the universal energy that is all around us, and other energies that speak to us if we would allow ourselves to listen. It's, like I said before in many videos, it's not magic, it's not hoodoo, it's not voodoo, it's literally just no different than getting on your knees and praying and getting some form of a response. This response is more immediate, right? And it's more concrete, really. So when I flipped this card, and it was the Magician in reverse, and we have Chiron in retrograde in Aries, the first thing I thought of was, let me do what I said I was going to do and go and do some research. So I bought cards a long time ago, books and everything. So I grabbed my stuff and I started reading. The first thing I appreciated about the writer is how they wrote. And the writer pretty much said, as you go about your journey through the tarot cards, just understand the Fool is you. The Fool is the first card. It has no number. It's a part of the major arcana. It's you. You are the Fool. You are the young soul, young spirit, young energy, whatever you call yourself, that comes into this world, and you are following blind faith, and you are the Fool. Now the next card under the Fool is the Magician, and the Magician plays one of two roles. On a balanced, normal interaction with the Magician further enlightens you about the three-dimensional world. The Magician uses its knowledge and wisdom to show you your way around the world. If you are interacting with a proper balanced Magician, your Fool's life journey is very pleasant and enjoyable, and you learn massive lessons and you have a good time. However, the reverse of that is the Magician in reverse, which is the trickery, the manipulation and deception. That's when you've come across a magician that has not had the best fool's journey in life. And because this magician has not had the best fool's journey in life, they don't know any better to teach better. That's the best way to say it. They don't know any better to teach better. So as a kid, you're coming across a whole bunch of magicians, and I don't think a lot of us really, as children, have the chance to really sit and think about this. So here you have this young body with this fresh soul inside of it, being ruled by either you believe, like the Book of Ra, one spirit rules multiple souls and bodies, or you believe like the Hindus, we're reincarnating, or you believe whatever you believe, right? But either way, you have this young little body, this young precious soul that has been that has gone through the amnesia process, that thinks it's fresh, is going through its fool's journey again. It doesn't know what's going on, right? And it's coming across different magicians. The magicians can be your parents, your leaders, your teachers, the individuals in your churches, in your communities. Those are all magicians from the point of view of a child, right? So as you're coming into the interaction with these individuals, they're teaching you based on what they know. Now, when you're a kid, honestly, think about what I just said. The card 0, the fool, is you. So we're taking this Chiron in retrograde and rewinding back to when you were a kid. So you're the fool. Think about it that way. I'm the fool. You're the fool. Your first magicians that you're interacting with are the individuals that dictated your future. They're the ones that dictated how you deal with trauma and triggers. They're the ones that dictated who you are literally right now as an adult. If this doesn't give you an aha moment, I don't know what will. Right? So now you're going through your life and you're meeting many, many magicians. So many magicians in the world because you're a kid. You don't know any better. You're growing, right? So now as an adult, you now are sitting face to face with this video and you're listening to me tell you, oh yeah, by the way, you're the fool. Hi, I'm a new magician in your life, but this time you're an adult. So I'm not trying to trick you or anything. I'm just going to give you some information and allow you to process that information the way you wish. You don't have to do anything with the information naturally. You just toss it out. But just to let you know, throughout your life, you've come across so many magicians, and this is what they did to you, and this is why you're the way that you are today. And these are the skills and attributes that you need to clean up the mess that they've made so that you can move on with your life, right? So furthermore, let me read this to you guys regarding the Magician Reverse. So the Magician Reverse is a master of illusion. He or she is deceptive and is filled with tricks. They will lure you with their showmanship of arts, and then they will manipulate you for their own selfish gain. Getting this card might mean there is someone who pretends to have your best interest at heart, but on the other hand, the opposite is true. Consider the magician has someone in your inner circle or a state of emotion that you may be in. There are 3 levels where tarot touch. I'm only covering the general layer, which is what I just said, but I will briefly go over the 3 layers. In love and romance, you might fall under a romantic illusion, thinking you love this person so much. I actually made a video about hardship where I talked about romantic hardship, where individuals will have allergies to their partner's pets but pretend like everything is okay and be almost on their deathbed. That's a part of the magician. Like, you're pretending to like something because the magician that's presenting this to you make it look so massively beautiful and great, and you're pretending to like it with them, and that's not how things work. In your career, you might literally be wasting your talent at a position that's not working for you when you're under the Magician Reverse. You possibly, when you first got the position, thought it was so cool, but 5-10 years later, you're still doing the same thing that you were doing from before. Not worth it. And then in finances, when you're disillusioned by the Reverse Magician, you end up missing out on financial opportunities and investments. So think about that for a moment. You have the kid in you who's reacclimating themselves with the adult in you, and the kid in you could have been asleep for a very long time. They're just coming back to reintroduce themselves to the adult in you. And then both of you are realizing, oh crap, all of these magicians that I had in my life didn't know what they were doing. So, like, God forbid if you're older and you're listening to this, I apologize on behalf of those crazy magicians. But if you're young, think about it. For the past 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 years, you've had these individuals leading you astray, and they don't know what they're doing, their darn selves. So the blind leading the blind, the deaf leading the hearing. Well, no, the blind leading the seeing, the deaf leading the hearing, and the mute leading those who can speak. Like, don't do that anymore to yourself. Like, realize that, one, manipulation is a very strong element for individuals to use on others. And when someone is using manipulation on you, or deception on you, or trickery, that just means they have nothing to bring to the table. There's not a single thing that this individual would bring to the table that would be beneficial to you and your life journey. You're giving up way more than the individual is actually giving to you. So take that into consideration. I just had to express that the way I had to express it so you guys can get the big picture. Two important things about the reverse magician is, one, dreaming without taking action. It's important to follow your intuition when you feel like you're just like wandering in a senseless dream. And two, if you are taking action, the magician in reverse could be a warning to stop and go back and reevaluate what you set out to do in the first place. So let's say you're one of these individuals that wasn't tricked. You weren't tricked. You understand? You're one of these smart kids out here that was watching the magicians in your life, your whole life, just like yes, pastor, yes, teacher, yes, mom and dad, yes, older sibling, And when you became an adult, you're like, oh, wipe your bra clean, you made it. Oh my God, what a ride that was. We never want to be kids again, right? Well, what it's telling you, because you don't fall under the quote unquote victimization of the reverse magician, what it's telling you is, if this card appears to you in any way, shape, or form, stop for a moment, because you actually have been doing everything that you need to do to attain what you are looking to attain. Stop for a moment. This is a warning to stop. Retrace your steps back a few and align your initial reason for taking this action and where you are at the moment, and then you'll be able to figure out why you haven't reached success. I hope that helped. We're going into our second tarot card, which is the Eight of Cups in reverse. And here you have the Eight of Swords in reverse. Now, upright, this card is very negative. It speaks about being trapped, being restricted, being victimized, paralyzed, helpless, powerless, imprisoned. However, in reverse, this card is speaking of freedom, releasing, taking control, being a survivor, facing your fears, being empowered, and surrendering. Now, you notice that I pushed those retrogrades forward into the new tarot. So what we have here is, you have a woman who's blindfolded, and with the reverse, she's upside down. Upright, she is blindfolded against these swords, and she would have been upright. However, with the reverse, what it's saying is you're coming out of. So you see how these two cards work together? You have the magician in reverse that's telling you, with this Chiron retrograde, in your childhood, in your past, you were manipulated, you were deceived. Your magician could have easily been a devil. You understand? You were manipulated and you were deceived. And with the deception and the manipulation that took place in your world, in your life, it led to all of this trauma and hardship and suffering. Now, with all of this suffering and trauma that you experience in your magician being reversed, what it caused was a life of either taking action and having no results, or a life of feeling like you're dreaming and yet you can't take action. Like, the dreaming and can't take action just means like you have all the greatest ideas in the whole wide world, but you just don't know how to go about bringing them to fruition. Now, with this reverse Eight of Swords, it's telling you, confirm, ding, 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 it's right. You were entrapped. You were binded. You were stuck. And guess what? Now you've been liberated. Now with this reverse of Eight of Swords, you can finally let your hair down and know that you made it through. Whatever this was, honestly, whatever this Chiron in retrograde with this magician and this Eight of Swords and all the previous month's reading since Chiron went retrograde, right? Whatever it was, however long you've been going through this is a revelation to let you know, like, you did it. You understand? Like, you did it. You set yourself free. You went through all the mechanisms that you needed to go through to survive, and you set yourself free. It's important to celebrate, and I see why that previous month's Three of Cups came up, to celebrate, because what could have seemed like bad news if this card was upright. Because if this card was upright, what it would have said is, yeah, you were deceived, manipulated, and you went through all of this, but you're still going to keep going through it. But what the card says right now is that, yes, you did go through all of this, but guess what? You survived. You made it out. And you're going to start living the life that you were naturally born to live. Don't give up on yourself. Continue practicing love, self-love. Continue healing yourself. Continue fighting for yourself. Don't forget, in the previous month's reading, we had Jupiter in the space with Aquarius telling you, I'm fighting for your future. You're written in the future. Don't give up. They will make you want to give up, but don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep going forth. This is the confirmation of that. Like, this reverse card is telling you, you've been through a lot. Keep going. You got this. You can make it. Don't give up. Let's go into the new moon. Remember, last month we had 2 full moons. So our first reading here will be a new moon. So our new moon falls on September 15th. With this new moon, we are on the day of Friday. Now, let's paint the picture. We have the cards are telling you that we acknowledge the fact that you have gone through a lot. You were deceived. You were manipulated as a child. Keep fighting and trudging through this year's Chiron in retrograde in Aries. Know that you are in your I am space, and you will get through this, and you will become greater than you ever were, right? To confirm that, right following that, we have the 8 of Swords in reverse, which is saying, look, you are released from that deception and manipulation. You're released from all that unnecessary suffering that you've been going through since you were a kid. Something tried to bind you. Something tried to hold you hostage. But guess what? You are released. It is time to start building. It is time to start growing. Now, what the month of September have done now with her cool self is both of her moon activities are on a Friday in the energy of love. Now look, you guys know how I always tell you I adore the energy of Aries, which will be our full moon later on this month, right? But come on, the energy of Virgo in Venus while Mercury is retrograde. Furthermore, Mercury's retrograde ends on the new moon, and Venus's retrograde ended earlier that month, that in September in Leo. So we have a situation where we can communicate again, we can love again. We have a situation where during this communication and this love, we can actually work with Jupiter and further dig deeper into ourselves to see what it is that I need to keep working on. We have a situation where we just got confirmation that we did all that hard work. Boom, boom. We did all that hard work. We are now at the reverse of the 8 of Swords. We are officially at the mercy of Virgo, and we all know Virgo is a nurturing energy, and Virgo is swooping in like, yo, I got you. Look at us. Look at us, boo. We've been through everything. We've been through hell and high water. You literally looked your younger self in the face, wiped your younger tears, and you were able to look at your adult self in the face and say, I'm going to make it better. You were able to look at your adult self in the face and admit, yo, I was trampled as a kid, and I'm going to make it better. And this new moon in September, and this is the energy of Virgo. So the sun and the moon will be in Virgo. Come on. Like, you have to just, when you wake up that morning, just embrace that day, okay? It's a beautiful day. Just embrace it. Like, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be that day that you're just like, it was worth it, you know? All that pain and suffering was worth it. If I never knew anything else, I will have known that I learned the lesson of my life. Yes, Mr. Monster, Mr. Magician Monster, who came and deceived my young, innocent, perfect self and led me astray. I learned so much, and I know that I will never be manipulated again, no matter what is done, no matter what's presented to me. But in this new moon of Virgo, where the sun is in Virgo and the moon will be in Virgo on this beautiful Friday in the womb of Venus, practicing love and luxuries and everything that comes with it, I'm good. That's the energy you need to send out into the universe. I'm good. I will get through the rest of these years and I'm good. If little old me can go through everything that she went through and survive, then big girl, big panty wearing girl me can get through it. Big boxer guy wearing manly me can get through it and I'm good. So magician, regardless if you come back as you did when I was a kid, we're going to have to sit down and have a one-on-one because you need to understand I won't be manipulated again. That is the energy you need to have during this new moon, because the universe is telling you, I heard those cries, I heard those screams. They were saying that you had lessons that you needed to learn, so I didn't really touch on that. But now that you're out of those quote-unquote lessons, let's get to work. Let's build that foundation that you were working on. Let's build the businesses that you were working on. Let's build the career. Let's love and nurture the family. Let's secure and lead the children that you've created in this world. And believe you me, everything is going to work out for the best. Let's get into these candles and these stones. You know what? For this month, let's use the blue quartz, which I personally don't own, but I will pick some up. And let's also use the blue lace agate. And we're going to use the green candle. Our color will be green for this Friday of the new moon. And we're going to do the blue quartz and the blue lace agate. And we're going to do a rosemary sage smudging. Rosemary to clean up the energy, the green to ground us, and then the blue quartz and the blue lace to open up that throat chakra, open up that base chakra so we can communicate with ourselves what we really want in this world. I think those are a great combination to add to your meditation, and everything should work out for the best. Let's go into that full moon. So here's our chance, right? We have Chiron is retro in this beautiful signs energy. Here's our chance to reconnect. It's September 29th. It's a Friday and it is ruled by Venus, and we have a full moon in Aries. So we're almost through the year. The Chiron retrograde ends the 27th of December. This full moon is the first full moon to fall in Aries since Chiron went retro on the 23rd of July. Here's our chance. This is our chance to reconnect fully on all dimensions of ourselves with our younger self. Grab her, bring her forward, and let him or her, if you're male or female, let him or her know, yo, we made it. Did you just hear what was said earlier? Like all the stuff you went through, it's okay because we made it and we're about to live our best lives. Let your younger self know that. Let your teenage self know that, because Chiron does deal with teenage trauma, but a lot of the times, some of us, like for me especially, my trauma was hit in young years. I think I was like 7 or 8 when I first experienced real trauma as a kid. But some people really hadn't really experienced trauma until they were like teenagers. To wherever that pinnacle moment where you know, boom, I felt trauma. This is that feeling. As an adult, I possibly couldn't pinpoint it, but my gosh, this is where that feeling started. Go back there. Let that individual know, I know why we went through this. We had a magician in our lives. The magician could have been the pastor that was talking nonsense about you from the pulpit. The magician could have been the teacher that was always putting you down, putting negative thoughts in your subconscious. And God forbid if the magician was a parent. Let your younger self know so that you can move forward. And once you move forward, just close that door. You don't have to keep looking back. You don't have to keep feeling that feeling. Just close that door. And whenever your younger self possibly says, I feel sad, I feel this, I feel that. You can let your younger self know, did you forget? I told you. You don't feel it? We got through it. I know you're still healing and you're still trying to acclimate to the new frequencies of the future, but we did it. We got through it. And it's okay. Use this energy. Use the energy of Aries, the energy of I am, the energy of you are. And don't mix yourself with another. Like, once you pinpoint who hurt you, let that person go. Like, don't wrap yourself in that individual no more. Like, okay, you hurt me, congratulations, someone give this person a trophy or a cookie, whatever their prize is, give that to them and move on with yourself. Don't allow that energy or that person to keep coming back into your personal space, infiltrating you and re-triggering you. Don't do that. Let's go into some candle colors and some stones. So let's dive into this full moon Friday in Aries. So what I want to do is I want to incorporate the green from the Virgo new moon and introduce the pink candle. So we're going to do green and pink. And what that will do is, in the heart chakra space, green is the grounding color and pink is the love color. What we're going to do is we're going to ground that previous self's energy, and then we're going to present it with love. We're going to do that. And we're going to feel good about doing that. Because it's self. It's self you're loving. You're not loving a stranger. You know how much effort you guys put in loving strangers? We're talking about self here. You're going to grab that pink candle. And whenever you do your candle meditations, don't burn the candle all the way out. Meditate 5, 10, 15 minutes and then blow the candle out and store it somewhere safe, somewhere clean for the next time. You understand? Like, when you purchase your candles, you should be using that candle throughout the year. Like, it shouldn't be a one shot where you burn the candle down to nothing. Like, don't do that. You're going to pull out your green candle that you used during the new moon, add your pink candle, and the pink candle you could have been using in other Friday moon activities. You're going to light them with the intention of connecting with your younger self and loving yourself. It is important to love yourself. Think about everything that we just discussed just now. Think about the massiveness of what you've gone through. It's not worth it to not love yourself. It's not worth it to not identify with the fact that, yes, you are your own superhero. You protected yourself to the point where you allowed your past self, your young self, to now become an adult self. You know how many people give up? Every day, we watch television, we watch news, we listen to the radio, we listen to stories from colleagues and friends and loved ones. This person died from this person committed suicide because of that, this person ended their life, this life ended, this tragedy happened. And you happen to be one of those few individuals that no matter what you went through, you still kept going. Celebrate that in the energy of love. Celebrate that in the energy of Venus and the right frequency of Venus too, because I know there's a whole bunch of craziness going out in the celestials. Pay attention to what you're doing, okay? So now we're going to close out our month so that we can move on to October. So let's finish out our month. Congratulations. You've reintroduced yourself to yourself. I think I made a video in my As Above So Below playlist where the Who Am I one, the Who Am I video, where I talked about, like, sometimes I just stare at myself in the mirror, not because I'm a narcissist, because I haven't seen my own face in so long. That's the feeling I have here. Like, you reintroduce yourself to yourself. Hi, me. It's the older version of us. Oh my God. A lot has changed. Okay? But anyways, to close everything out and to summarize everything, we're still focused on the Chiron in reverse, in retrograde, which is in the Ram's energy of I am. This is the first full moon returning back into the energy of Ram. So we're going to use that to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves. Lucky for us, both moon energies fall on Friday, the day of love. So we get a chance to really love ourselves and connect with ourselves. For the new moon in Virgo, we're going to be using the green candle to balance all of that energy, because remember in the beginning I spoke about Virgo's nurturing. But honestly, as nurturing as Virgo is, she does give away too much of herself and become chaotic. So we want to kind of ground our own personal energy with that new moon's energy while we're reconnecting with our younger selves. And then under the full moon, we're going to continue with the green candle, but we're also going to incorporate the pink candle. What we're telling ourselves is we're going to ground ourselves and love ourselves at the same time. What we have learned from the tarot is that that reverse magician is pretty much all those corrupt individuals that were in your life when you were a child. They're those corrupt adults that had naturally gone through adulthood, but instead of guiding properly, they kind of mishandled your individual child lives, if that makes sense. But in conclusion, we receive the reverse of Eight of Swords, which is telling us you've been released from all that magician's deception, trickery, and mockery. Really, that's the word I got, mockery of your life's existence. That magician has been laid to rest. You're good to go now. Now it's about focusing on self and rebuilding and reconnecting and rechanneling with oneself. And then we have all of our retros that are going on. We have our retro of, let me grab my notes because I have so much going on at one time. We have our retro of Mercury in its home of Virgo. We have our retro of Uranus in Taurus. We have our retro of Jupiter in Taurus. And we also have our retro of Venus in Capricorn. Venus in Capricorn's retro ends on the September 4th in Leo. And then we have our retro of Jupiter in Taurus, which will go until the end of literally the last day of December, the 31st of December. And then that kind of gives us a chance to, with the retro in Chiron that runs until December 27th, and the Jupiter in Taurus retro that runs until December 31st, that kind of gives us a big idea of the kind of work that we're doing, and the fact that the work that we're doing is not light work, but it's real heavy work, you know. So as I always say, and also one last thing, the Mercury retrograde that ends on the new moon on the 15th, all of that coincides with what we've been talking about. So as I always say, guys, I love you guys so much. For everyone who listens to my videos every month, I try my best to keep them as short as possible, but sometimes the information is so much, and I love sharing this kind of information with people. So just keep in mind, I do try to keep them under 20 minutes, but the information is a lot and it's important, okay? So if you need to hop around, skip around, going forward, I'm going to try to timestamp, but I probably won't. So hop around, jump around, skip wherever you need to skip, and listen and meditate and do the meditations. They're only good for you. They will only help you and benefit your life. All right, guys? Take care, and I will see you guys next month.